Morning, my dear students. Today we'll discuss about operating system fundamentals. In this, the outline we are going to discuss today's class is what is operating system and mainframe systems, desktop systems, multiprocessor systems, distributed systems, clustered system, real-time systems, handheld systems, future migration, computing environments. These are all comes under introduction of the operating system. The computer system in general, a computer system has four components. Number one, hardware component. Hardware component provides basic computing resources. These are the CPU, memory, I/O devices, input-output devices like printer, keyboard, mouse. These are all I/O devices. Memory means here primary memory is RAM, ROM, and secondary memory is your hard disk. Right now, the hard disk in place of secondary memory, in place of hard disk, we are using right now solid state drive. It is a fast and very speed and very it is very fast like your pen drive. Operating system controls and coordinates the use of the hardware among the various application programs for the various users. Just now in the previous slide I explained about if the memory is there, memory has to be shared among several processes, and each process has its own memory. That memory should not be occupied or controlled by or accessed by some other process, so that protection has to be given by the operating system. Next, application programs. What are these application programs? First of all, underline is hardware. Upon the hardware, your operating system. On the operating system, your application program. Suppose you want to do some typing, then you going to use the word MS Word or Notepad. These are all called application program. Or you want to type a C program. Above the operating system, the layer is called application program, where compilers, database system, video games, business programs all comes under application programs. Next, my dear friends, users. People, machines, other computers all comes under users. My dear friends, let us see the abstract view of system components. This is user 1, user 2, user 3 and up to so on user n. These are all user programs. User compiler is a user program used by user 1. Assembler, one more, used by user 2, like text editor, like Notepad or VI editor in Linux systems, like database systems. System and application program. These are all comes under system and application program. The next below that layer is operating system. This is inner core is of computer hardware. You see this in between computer hardware and system programs, in between the interface is operating system. Using this operating system, your user can able to interact with this computer hardware directly. Okay, now let us see the definition of operating system. Resource allocator. Main jobs of the operating system is resource allocator. Control program. Number 3, kernel. Let us see one by one. Resource allocator manages and allocates resources. Suppose there is only one printer is there, several processes are in client server tech architecture. Only one printer is there. There are several systems want to access that particular resource. Then managing, allocating that particular resources for a particular time to the particular user. This will be job of the resource allocator. Next, control program.
controls the execution of user program. For example, we'll write a programs in C language, C++, Java. All the programs are executed step-by-step procedure. Control the execution of user programs and operations of IO devices. When we'll execute a program, the program needs IO request. Suppose while you are running the program, in between it needs an IO, means it needs input through keyboard, input output device. So it needs a data through keyboard. Then it immediately execution should be halted, and that input has to be taken from the user and execution should starts. It's kernel. Kernel means the operating system can be used by the user program. Number two, kernel. Kernel is operating system innermost program on the running at all times. This operating system runs this program, kernel. It will take care of operating system general routines. Okay, I have seen this here. Resident job in the main memory. Here only one job, whereas in multi-programmed several jobs. So CPU can run several jobs at a time. OS operating systems features needed for multi-program. Why multi-programming is needed? IO routine supplied by the system. Number two, memory management. Number three, CPU scheduling. My dear friends, in multi-programming, several jobs are in the main memory. So each and every job may require IO routine, input-output routine. So operating system should provide for each and every job in the main memory this IO routine. Second, memory management. So each job needs certain amount of memory. That memory has to be allocated by the operating system. There are several jobs. When there are several jobs in the operating system main memory, then CPU scheduling means and which job has to be selected and sent to the CPU to execute. For this we need CPU scheduling. Allocation of devices. Each job while executing it need other devices. Then how to allocate which job need which device. These all features should be supported by the operating system. Time sharing systems, interactive computing. We already discussed CPU main memory is occupied with several jobs in the main memory. Whenever the CPU would like to execute, then any one of the job has to be selected by the scheduler and giving to the CPU to execute. And after completion of the job, then that memory should be freed, and that particular job has to be sent back to the disk. Whenever a new job is required, what CPU want to execute, that job has to be loaded into the main memory. Next, we'll see that online communication between the user and the system. Whenever particular job wants input from the user, the operating system should provide an access to get the data from the user, like control statement from the user keyboard. Whenever in the program execution, that program needs data through keyboard, it should able to get it. The online system must be available for users to access data and code. Both data and code should be accessed by the user. System and the Mac operating system is Apple computers operating system, and Unix and Linux. These both are look like similar, and these three are major operating system generally we used. We'll discuss about parallel systems. Now, right now we are whatever the latest processors we are using in the computer, our laptops are all comes under parallel system. Dual core systems generally are comes under parallel systems. Systems with more than one CPU. Dual core means two CPUs already on the motherboard.
Systems with more than one CPU in close communication is also known as multi-processor system. Dual core generally means two cores, two CPUs are in the system. These are all called tightly coupled system. Processors, all these processors, whatever the dual core, octa core, share same memory and clock. These processors are embedded on the same motherboard, sharing the same memory and a clock. Communication usually takes place through the shared memory only because memory is same for both these processes. Advantages of parallel system. See, the speed is obviously high because we are using, in place of one CPU we are using two CPUs dual core. Increased throughput, and it is economical since we can able to run the programs in a very shorter time. Okay, and increased readability, in some cases graceful degradation files of systems. My dear friends, there are two types of things here. One is asymmetric multiprocessing, second is symmetric multiprocessing. Asymmetric multiprocessing means there are several processors are available on the motherboard. One processor acts as a master and remaining processor is act as a slave. Whatever the master commands, that slave has to do. Okay, whereas symmetric multiprocessing is not like that. All processors are same. They'll execute identically. This comes under symmetric multiprocessing. Generally, most modern operating systems right now are all symmetric multiprocessing. This is the diagram of the symmetric multiprocessing architecture. There are three processors are all in the same. They're both all are sharing the same bus and sharing the same memory. There is no master and slave system here. All are same. Whatever the processing, as three processors are here right now on this diagram, as to share and complete the job. Next, we'll discuss about distributed systems. Mainly, distributed system means distributed. The computers are distributed in a different places, and whatever the computation we want to do, that is shared among several physical processors. Means all these processors are placed in different places. The computation, the job has to be done. Suppose a huge computation has to be done and calculation has to be done, it's very huge. That task can be divided among these all different processors which are in different places. These are all called loosely coupled systems. Means each and every processor has its own local memory because each processor is located in a distinct, different place. So it has its own memory. Then how these all different, when these processors are placed in a different whenever these processes are with my dear friends, in the distributed systems, mainly the computation will be, the speed of the computation will be increased and load will be shared because the processors are placed in different locations and given task is shared among all the processors. That is why the given load is shared among all the processors, and its reliability will be increased. What is reliable? One processor is suppose down, the other process may work. So in this way the computation will not stop. So these are the advantages in the, and in the distributed systems requires networking infrastructure. Why networking infrastructure is needed means all the systems are placed in different locations. So all these systems should be connected each other by using local area networks or wide area networks. Using this we can connect all these interconnected nodes. In two ways we can connect: using client server, that all the clients are connected to one single server, or to peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means system to system. Each system is connected with the other system. This is a general structure of a client server. All these clients are connected through this network to the server. Client 1, client 2, client 3 and so on. Any number of clients can be connected to a server. These clients are placed in different locations. The given task can be computed by different clients and given to the server. Real-time systems are used in embedded systems. What is this embedded system? Is embedded computers are the most prevalent form of a computers in existence. These devices are found everywhere. These embedded systems are like car engines, VCR, TV, fridge, are all comes under embedded systems. For all these, an operating system is needed. That is real-time operating system. The definition is like this. The embedded systems almost always run real-time operating systems. A real-time system is used when a rigid time requirement have been placed on the operation of a processor. It should happen in a quick time. For example, if it will do a specific task for a car engine. Car engine need a operating system, a real-time operating system. There will be no interface. Its task is to see that car engine has to work. Like the specific tasks to execute that, then we need a real-time operating system. For this, there is no secondary storage memory. It only stored only in read-only memory. Okay, suppose washing machine is there. Washing machine no need hard disk, only specific instructions, but the time constraint is more. In specific time, this operation has to be done. This is called real-time operating system. Next, we'll see the handheld systems, which are used, we can hold in by hand. Personal digital assistants, cellular phones. For all these things, a limited memory, no need a huge memory, since we won't run any programs on this. Slow processors, no need of high-end processor like i5 processors are no need. And display screen is very less. These are all used for in hand systems. If you see the migration of operating system concepts and features from 1950 to around 2000, from 1950 to in 2000, if you see, right now we are using multi-processor network. There are multiple processors are installed in a single laptop. So previously that feature is not there in previous 1950s, 60s, 1960s. If you see, only time shared. 1970s multi-user networked, and 1980s distributed system. In 1990, multi-processor concept has come. Like this, these are new features are added from 1950 to around 2000, and it's still going on. Computing environments, let us discuss, my dear friends. In traditional computing in olden days, only PCs, servers, and there is no remote access. These are all standalone computers. Computing will be done in standalone. Okay, this is a traditional computing. Whereas in web-based computing, the client can access a server from a remote place. The web server provides whatever the client requests can be provided by the web server. And it is convenient, no need a direct wire connection from client to the server. The client can be sit anywhere, can access the server. Okay. In embedded computing, The most computers in like automobile, like example here I taken is engine controllers or microwave or washing machine, dishwashers are all comes under embedded computing or a real-time operating system. It will be used where we use a limited feature of operating systems and no interface, very little interface. If see, for example, you take a washing machine, very two, three buttons, that's it. And sometimes embedded computing, we can give the access to the remote access. Using a remote button, we can open the car doors so that we can enter like that. Okay. These are all three things. Traditional computing doesn't support access a computer in a remotely. Later on, web-based computing, a client can access a server from a remote place, and embedded computing is a different one using real-time operating system. With limited operating system interfaces, this embedded computing will do a specific task in a time constraint manner. Okay, these things are comes under computing.